Oh, it's just one of those days, isn't it? Yes. We're starting off this tutorial with priming our eyes with a little concealer and a little loose powder. I don't normally do this, but I'm feeling more oily lately, so yes. Just pounding some powder into those eyelids. You know what I mean? I think you do. Going in with the coveted Morphe 350 palette, we're going to go in with this kind of light brown, warm brown shade, and we're going to work this into our crease in the classic windshield wiper and small circular motions, just deepening up the crease, getting a little bit of definition in there, kind of planning where I'm going to put the shadows, because I kind of just, like every other tutorial, I just wing it. So yes, we're going in with this fluffy dome brush into the crease, blending it out like crazy. And then I switch over to the other side and try to use my left hand, and I don't know, it just doesn't come out as good, but whatever. We work it out. Now we're going in with this little bit of a darker, a little bit more red undertone brown, and we're going to focus this with a smaller dome brush. We're going to focus this on the outer corner, working it into our crease, deepening everything up. It's better to go a little bit at a time, building things up, rather than going in for the kill with a dark shadow right away, because you can't take it off if you put it on. So, go a little at a time. Adele's eye shape is almond like mine, but she kind of has a different, like her crease is totally different and her brow bone is very, very low. So I kind of tried to shape out my crease a little bit more like hers. So I'm bringing in that darker shade a little bit closer to the bridge of my nose, just like hers. Her crease kind of goes like parallel straight across. There's no real curve to it, so that's what I'm trying to do. Obviously, we can't look exactly like Adele, even though we all want to, but we do our best. Then we're going to mix these two shades right here. One's like more of a yellow gold, and one's more champagne-y. I laid down, with a wet brush, I laid down the yellow gold first, and then I focused the more champagne color just right on the middle part of my lid, just to give a little bit more brightness to the color. A little more brightness to the lid. In the video, you can't really tell like whether or not Adele's makeup artist, his name is Michael Ashton, you should look him up, he's brilliant. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not he used more warm or cool tones on her. He usually uses cool tones, so I don't know, but this is just what I went with. Priming our face with the Smashbox Primer Oil, it's great for dry skin, and then I'm going in with Benefit's Lemonade Color Correcting Eye Primer underneath my eye, just to help out with those dark circles. And I go in with the erase paste after, but I didn't film that for some weird reason. Just the perfect way to help with dark circles and any kind of dullness under the eye. And then with the Morphe M439 foundation brush, I am buffing in the Ready Set Gorgeous CoverGirl foundation mixed with Benefit's Do the Hula Matte Bronzer, just to give me a little more color to my face, because I need it. And then we are going to highlight our face with the Urban Decay Naked Concealer. This is in Fair Neutral. This is very, very light, but I'm using it anyway just because the end result is so beautiful. Even though it looks crazy, crazy light on me, it works, so I just continue to do it. So we're going to put this underneath our eyes, down the bridge of our nose, the forehead, chin, all the usual places. And I don't normally bring the concealer down the middle of my nose because my makeup doesn't hold well there, so I think less is more for me in that area, but I did it today just for the sake of the video. We're also going to put this concealer right underneath where we're going to do a little bit of contouring, just to aid in sharpening up those lines a little bit more. And then, of course, on the center of the chin. We're going to blend everything out with a damp Real Techniques Beauty sponge. You want the sponge to be damp. You don't really want to feel too much moisture. You want to wring it out really well when you completely submerge it in water under the sink. And just do the dabbing. You don't want to swipe because then you're moving around too much product and you're essentially removing what you put on. So you just want to dab it so that the Beauty Blender absorbs any excess concealer that your face doesn't need, but it's not removing too much. And when I go with this underneath my eyes, I normally go back with more concealer after and just kind of touch up things, because for whatever reason, especially on the one side, it just never stays well, so I always have to go back in with more concealer after and blend that out again. Something I didn't film. I don't know. Then we're going to go in with the RCMA No Color Translucent No Color Powder and do the baking method, which is something I have just started to really do on an everyday basis, just so that my makeup lasts a long time at work. But I normally don't do it for videos, because when I shoot a video, I usually take my pictures and then I take the makeup off. So I don't really ever do this, but you're just going to apply like an insane amount of powder to the areas where you put the concealer and let it sit for 10 minutes. I'm going to fill in my brows while this is setting, using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in chocolate. You know, you've seen me fill in my brows like a million times, so no really explanation is needed. Then we're going to take the Real Techniques setting brush and just lightly, very gently brush away all that excess powder. And you're left with like a beautiful finish. Your face looks highlighted and gorgeous. And your makeup is going to last all day. It's basically bulletproof. Next, I'm going in with Benefit's Cheekathon palette, and I'm going to be using the Hoola bronzer for a contour, and then mixing the Coralista blush with the Dandelion blush. I went in with way too much Hoola bronzer at first, and I had to buff it out like crazy, but the end result looked really, really nice, so I'm kind of glad I went in a little gung-ho with it at first. But I'm just using a Real Techniques contour, like, sculpting brush to kind of get all the right places. Hairline, nose, chin, cheekbones. Adele didn't really have like a huge, like, sharp contour like she normally does for like stage, so it was a refreshing kind of take on her makeup. And there wasn't a very shimmery highlight either, so I'm just going in with Benefit's What's Up, which is a nice cream to powder champagne and very natural looking, and we're just using that on the high points of my face, cheekbones, around my brow, center of my nose, and chin. It just looks nice and natural and very soft, rather than normal highlights which are very shimmery and very noticeable. This is very gentle looking. Next, I'm blending in the blushes, so I used the Coralista blush and Dandelion. Started out maybe a little bit left up center, going back towards the hairline, and then doing circular motions towards the apple of my cheek. Very, very flushed, peachy looking blush, which is normally Michael Ashton does a very kind of like dusty rose on Adele for photo shoots and performing, but I loved the more warm, like summery look that he gave her for this video. I'm going to load on some mascara, and I put a lot of mascara on, which I normally don't do. This is the Rimmel Lash Acceleration. It's a lengthening mascara, but it's got fibers in it, which I didn't know until I actually like read the packaging. But and normally I don't wear fiber mascara because it bothers my eyes too much, but this one really kind of doesn't, unless I very stupidly rub my eye. But we're going to load on a lot of mascara, and then we're going to follow it with lashes after. There is no eyeliner in this look. I think but I couldn't really see. I think he smudged a little bit of brown along the lash line just to thicken up her lashes a little bit instead of doing the liner. I did not do that in this video just because I wasn't quite sure, so I was, trying to keep it as authentic as possible. The lashes that we are using today are Adele 110s. They're natural. They're more lengthening than anything else. They give you a little bit of volume, but they're very, very lengthening, and we're just going to plop those on with a little bit of the Duo Dark Glue that I pretty much use all the time, whether I'm wearing eyeliner or not. Next, we're going to do the lip, and I'm using NYX matte lipstick in Tea Rose, and then the Cha Cha tint from Benefit. And I laid down Tea Rose first, which is very pink, and then the peachy tint over it. It ended up being a little bit too bright, so I took a tissue and just blotted my lips a little bit and removed some of the excess product, and it came out perfect. So that's the end of the look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, follow me on all my social media, and I'll see you next time.